Hello and welcome back to Clean Code. I'm me, you are you, and today we're going to tackle the Airbnb medium problem from Pyspark. Our problem statement reads, find the total number of available beds per host's nationality. Output the nationality along with the corresponding total number of available beds. Sort the records by the total available beds in descending order. A fairly standard, straightforward problem. I would expect this to be at the phone screen stage, but I could also see it cropping up on your on-site, maybe as the first or second problem so that people can get a really good assessment of your fundamentals, because this is a classic fundamental problem. Can you aggregate and summate data in an effective manner? And whenever we're working in Pyspark, we really want to be cognizant of how quickly and how efficiently we can do that. Let's go ahead and take a brief look at our data. We have not a lot of columns, but we have a fair amount of columns, but we do have n beds, which is nice, and we do have nationality. Those are the two things in the problem statement that I read that I was like, oh, maybe we're going to have to interpolate. No interpolation is needed, but we're probably going to have to do some joinery to get these tables to work together. Now, I do think that this is not necessarily a simple problem, but I do not think it rises to a complexity. I definitely think this is the kind of thing where if you're nervous, you don't have a good game plan or a good system to solve these problems, you can easily get flustered and make this way more complicated. But you're not going to do that because you're here with us today. So let's go ahead and jump into the notebook and begin to break this problem down. All right, here we are in our handy dandy notebook. Let's go ahead and highlight the computational part of this problem, which is going to be number of available beds per host nationality. It is exactly like it says on the box. However, there are two conditionals for our output. First, we need nationality and then total number of available beds, which we're going to calculate from our yellow line. And additional to that, we need to sort our records by the beds in descending order. In a bunch of conversations we've had here at Clean Code with recruiters and people, managers who do these kind of technical interviews, this is probably the number one step people mess up on, and that's why they have a fast exit and they're kind of left standing there going, I didn't think the problem was that hard. I didn't think I did it wrong. You probably missed something. And it's super unfortunate because it's just the way data is these days. You got thousands of applicants for these jobs, and you've already cleared that hurdle, and you cleared that first, phone screen with a recruiter. And here you are at probably one of the first couple of questions you're being asked, and you miss out. You don't get to move forward and be evaluated in the on-site because you forgot to sort the records in descending order. That's why we do these highlights so that we can check our work and showcase that we are capable and competent. And I think another way to showcase that is by eliminating unnecessary columns. Every single time you look at these problems, there's always unnecessary columns. We do know, however, that that does not apply to host ID. That is our foreign key. That's how we're going to get these tables to talk to each other. But we do not need apartment ID because an apartment ID must be linked to a host ID. Airbnb will not let you rent an apartment without having a host there who manages it and runs it, so to speak. We also don't care about apartment type. We do really care about number of beds, but we don't care about number of bedrooms. We already have nationality in our host table, so we don't need to extract anything from our country column, and city is nice but unnecessary. Over on the host sides, we can take care of gender, don't need it in this case, and age is not relevant for what we're being asked to solve for. So already we've taken about 11 columns and we've turned it into a 5-column problem, and we know we need to make one calculation, but we have two separate conditionals that we need to make sure our answer covers. I think with all of that, let's go ahead and make a problem plan. And it's going to be very simple because this is a very straightforward problem, but just to kind of showcase where I'm thinking, and then we can marry the data to the problem plan to figure out what functions we want to use and which ones are available to us. All right, let's get into that problem plan. Okay, let's go ahead and kind of draw out what I'm thinking the major steps of this problem are. So we know we have two separate tables of data, and we know we have information in both of those tables that we need to combine together to solve this problem. So let's go ahead and call this, df0. Inside of our df0, we know we want to get all the different nationalities together. And once we have the different nationalities together, we want to sum the number of beds. And we want to do the same here and here. And then finally, we're going to take everything together and we're going to sort it high to low. Now, this is a quick way, even if you're on a phone call and you don't have a monitor, you don't have whatever, you should have scratch paper. Draw this out. And that way, if your technical recruiter starts kind of asking you some probing questions, which are perfectly fair, by the way, you can go ahead and look at any part of this problem and kind of talk more in depth about it. And that's why I'm a huge advocate of writing these problems out, because when you see it on paper, you can fight it on paper instead of trying to, in one hand in your brain, figure out what you're going to do, and then in the other, revise and edit it based on the direction you're getting from that recruiter. So we have our problem plan, we have our data. I'm going to write things a little bit differently today. I'm going to try and showcase the functions and then also where in the data we're going to use them to hopefully alleviate the need for an after hours. So obviously we have to join these things together. So let's use a join, and we know we're going to have to join on host ID as that's our key. Additionally, once we're joined, we're going to take leverage of a group by and then an order by. I'm going to use an alias to rewrite that column, and we're going to have to use a .to pandas. Okay, so where are all of these things going to get their data from? Our group by is going to be nationality. Hopefully that's somewhat close to being spelled right. Spelling in English is really not what I'm good at. We know we're going to need an order by, embeds. We know we want an alias embeds just to be explicit in our writing. And then if we're asked about that, we can showcase that, hey, we're already thinking about documentation and the people that come after us. We know we need to use .pandas. Oh, and this is why we do it, because I just forgot to put it in the aggregation statement. We're going to use a dot. I've never seen that happen before. We're going to use a .ag statement, and then we're going to use sum, because the thing we're going to be summing is embeds. All right. Hopefully this is a little bit more clear when we go ahead and kind of compose everything together in the code editor, and I will see you there just now. All right, let's go ahead and take our functions and compose them all together to find a solution. We are going to be importing Pyspark.sql functions as per standard. And then the first thing we're going to want to do is join up our data together, just like we said on host ID. And then from that, what I think we're going to do next is start chaining these together. And what I mean by that is we're going to say .group by nationality, and then we're going to take care of that aggregation. And that's also where we're going to use our alias to, instead of calling it embeds, total beds available. It never hurts to be explicit in your naming conventions for variables. Nobody ever gets mad. It's just being polite, and it's super helpful, and hopefully could even showcase how you're just a little bit better than the next person that's going to be interviewing. We're then going to order by the total number of beds available and set ascending equal to false to take care of our descending order conditional for our problem statement. And then we're going to put everything to a pandas data frame. Let's go ahead and click writing code. And honestly, in working in Pyspark, this is probably the most nerve-wracking part of it. We just sit here and hope that we didn't mess anything up. We got all the commas in the right place. Okay, yeah, things look good. That looks mostly right. We got nationalized on the left, total beds available on the right. Descending looks like it worked. Go ahead, check our solution, and we wait some more. And we wait, and we wait, and we wait. Did we do something wrong? Oh, here we go. Must be the internet connection. All green lines. All right, on behalf of Clean Code, we wish you the best in your interview journey. And until we see you again, best of luck.